My name is Brett Gorvanek. I'm the founder of NEXO Marketing, and today I'm going to be diving into exactly how you can build a predictable pipeline full of jobs for your contracting business in just 90 days. Now, the problem is we talk to a lot of contracting businesses every single day, and the ones who are relying solely on referrals, solely on word of mouth, which is just one source of leads, one source of revenue, typically have a slow season. And that slow season is typically at the end of the year, November, December, or at the beginning of the year, right? February, January, March, kind of before tax season. And so the problem is there may be a good season and then a slow season. And during that slow season, there may be a lot of panic, right? It's really slow. And the problem is there's no way to control it. And this repeats every single year, right? There's a slow season every single year. Now, why is this? Well, the problem with relying on referrals or relying on word of mouth is that it's not able to be controlled. You can't control how many people are going to come to you in a given month. What does this mean? When some companies that we talk to are overwhelmed with work, they're booked out for a couple of years, it's a good thing, but then all of a sudden they may hit a dry spell and they have nothing to turn on. So the whole point is to build a predictable system where you can control the amount of money or the amount of leads that are coming in, right? So if it's a busy season, what do? You turn the system down. If it's a slow season, what do? You turn the system up. But you keep the system running throughout the entire year, and all you're doing is turning it up or down based on how many jobs you need to get in your system, right? So what is the timeline of this system? Well, month one is the foundation. What needs to happen? Number one, you need to build the infrastructure, right? So you need to build a system where all of these leads, all of these potential clients are actually coming into, right? A system that you implement inside of your business. And then number two is creating high converting creatives, right? So creating videos that these people are going to watch, right? So real videos that are showcased, that are shot professionally, that showcase your projects in a high quality way, right? Because this is going to be the very first thing that people are going to see. And then you want to launch campaigns with proper tracking. So a lot of the times when we're talking to contractors that have gotten burned by lead people or other agencies, the problem is they're just generating leads. There's no system, there's no infrastructure, and there's no video team in person on site to actually capture the work that is being done. So the whole point is to build a predictable system. And so what do? You launch these campaigns, you track every single metric, and then after month one, you establish your baseline metric. Now, why is this hard? Most people try to skip the system, as I just mentioned, and they just want to go straight into generating leads, but the leads aren't going into a system. So it's harder, and you're going to get potentially a much lower conversion rate because you're not feeding the leads into a system. And so what is the result? Leads fall through the cracks, right? If there's no system, there's nowhere to track any of these people that are coming in. And sometimes you have to follow up with people 3, 4, 5 times before they buy. So the problem with no system is you may follow up with someone one time, you may follow up with a lead one time, they don't answer, and then that lead falls through the cracks. Maybe on the 4th or 5th time, they would have answered and gotten an estimate or potentially wanted to do business with you, right? So the outcome by the end of month one is having a system complete. So setting up your system, setting up any automations that you need to make sure that your team can get plugged into the system that's generating leads, right? And number two is making sure that the ads are live and actually generating leads. And by the end of month one, now we know, you know what's working and what's not, right? So we know the baseline numbers and we're ready to scale. Month one, It's just getting everything situated, right? Getting the system set up. Now we know what's working. Now we are ready to scale. Month 2 is going to be optimization, right? So what needs to happen in month 2? Well, you need to analyze what's working, right? A lot of people, they drop off after month 1, right? They expect, unfortunately, there's no magic pill when it comes to marketing, when it comes to lead generation. You have to analyze what's working, and then you lower your cost per lead. You then improve your conversion rate because you're a little bit more familiar with the system, more familiar with how these leads are actually working, how to get them on the phone, how to book estimates. And then from there, you scale. And the reason I say this, improving conversion rate, is because selling online, right? Getting people to book an estimate with your company online is a lot different than just a referral, right? The process is completely different. You have to hit these people from multiple touch points: email, text messages, calls, voicemails, voice memos, right? It is a whole different ball game than just having a referral call you up and want to do business with you. But it's necessary if you want to scale and you want to start capitalizing on your local market, right? Now, why is this hard? Because it requires daily monitoring, right? And you need to know what metrics to watch. So you need to pretty much monitor your campaigns every single day to see what the numbers are doing and exactly what you need to change in order to get the right results. Now, the outcome by the end of month 2 is that the cost per lead is lower, the lead quality has increased, the conversion rate improves because you or your team, whoever's managing the sales process, is much more familiar with how to actually convert these people, right? How they actually work online, because people can be weird online sometimes. And then number 4 is going to be spending smarter, right? Making sure that your budget is allocated in the right places. And then month 3, right? So after you've set everything up, after you've tested for a little bit, after you've gotten familiar with the system, month 3 is going to be where things start to become very, very predictable. And now that you've started closing jobs, booking estimates, getting clients in, now you can scale your budget confidently and know exactly how much money you are going to get in return, right? And so everything is systemized. And this is how you build long-term authority, because by month 3, a lot of people in your local market, they've seen your videos, they've seen your ads. So they know your company by then, right? Now, after a couple months of seeing your stuff, they may see you in person, right? That's one of the things that happens with some of our clients is, especially if you're in a smaller town or a smaller area, right? A lot of people are on their phones. A lot of people are checking Instagram. And if they see videos of you and your team, you guys are going to kind of become like local celebrities, right? People will recognize you at coffee shops like, hey, I've seen your guys' ad, right? That's the importance of a good video, right? So building long-term authority in your marketplace through video, because you're hitting these people over and over and over and over again. And then by this point, you have a predictable pipeline. Now, why it's hard is simply because most people quit before month 3. Month 3 is really when things start to pick up and start to become very, very predictable. So what's the outcome by the end of month 3? Predictable lead flow. Bookings are very, very consistent, and you know exactly how much you're going to get out of the system with the money that you put in. So why do most never get here, right? A lot of people, number one, they try to do it themselves, right? I talk to a lot of people say, I've been running ads for 2 weeks. I started ads last week. I don't see any results, right? Or I started ads by myself a month ago, 2 months ago. I haven't seen any results. Well, what kind of system is in the back end, right? What's the creative that you're running? So trying to do it yourself, a lot of people will just like start and stop it. So it's not the best, right? Number 2 is you don't have the infrastructure, right? So you don't have the system that when these leads actually come in, you're following up with them. You're touching base with them multiple times, right? And so the result is that leads fall through the cracks. Number 3 is a lot of people give up too early. Marketing is a game of testing, and it's very, very, very scary at first, because you do have to put money to the market to see what people are going to go after, right? So this is why you can't give up early. You can't give up a month in, because you're never going to know what works and what doesn't. And you're never going to get to that predictability standpoint, right? You're never going to actually know what you need to do in order to get more leads. And then number 4 is simply just hiring the wrong agency, right? I would say that the number one thing is make sure that the agency that you're talking to has the referrals, has the testimonials, has the reviews to actually back up what they're claiming or what they're saying, right? And number 3, I don't know why I'm saying number 3, but the next thing is making sure that they have good referrals, right? They can show what they actually do. I would say the biggest thing too is making sure that they're local, right? So especially if you're a contractor, if you're a home service company and you're working with someone who's in Texas and you're based in California, it doesn't make sense, right? Because they're not actually, number 1, they don't have any sort of incentive because they're not in your local market. And number 2, they're not able to actually get on site to get videos of you and your team and the projects that you do. So it's very, very, very important, because construction and contractors and the work that goes into remodeling, into landscaping is very visual, right? That's 90% of it is visual. That's why people get remodels done. That's why people get their homes redone. And so if you don't have a team that's in your area, that's physically there capturing the work that you're doing visually, then you're going to lose out on a lot of results, right? So what does a predictable job pipeline requires? A lot of people think that it just requires ads, right? They just think ads are going to magically bring them in predictable jobs. But the truth is you need follow-up systems, right? You need to follow up with these people once they come in. You need to have a system, a CRM system, where you're tracking every single person and you're automating the follow-up process. Because if you have 30 leads coming in a month, your time is better off somewhere else than automatically following up with people who might not even respond, right? So automating things and saving a lot of time with a system. Number 3 is going to be professional ad creative. So as I mentioned, landscaping work, any sort of construction work is very, very visual, right? So it's very important that you have a professional videos to showcase the work that you do. Number 4, daily campaign monitoring. Every single day, the campaign, something changes, right? Every single day, the numbers are changing. Something needs updating pretty much every single day. And then number 5 is data analysis and optimization, right? Actually looking at the numbers. So not only monitoring the campaign, but looking at the numbers over a period of time, seeing which videos work, which photos work and don't work, doubling down on the ones that do, right? So for example, if a before and after, let's say for example, a before and after of a front yard for a turf company, if you have an image of a before picture and an after picture, and that's doing really, really well, how can you capitalize off of that? Well, you see that that's doing really, really well for the last 2 weeks, and then you make a variation of that, right? Using the same before and after concept. So for example, if you have a before and after that's done really well, then you make a video talking about that before and after, right? So looking at the data and then optimizing based off of that data is really, really important. And almost last but not least is 90 days of consistent execution, right? So it's really, really important to do this for 3 months to see results, right? Everyone says that, but it's the most important thing because of testing and because people have to be constantly reminded. Customers, clients, potential clients have to be constantly reminded of what it is that they need before they actually buy, right? There's one metric that say people have to spend up to 7 hours of doing research, of getting familiar with your company before they convert. So 90 days when you're adding in videos, when you're talking to them on the phone, etc., right? Usually you don't close jobs. You might not be closing jobs within a week, right? It might take a couple of months for the process to go through. And it's the same thing with marketing, right? Let's say best case scenario, someone sees your video on day 1. Well, it might take them 3 months to actually convert, right? And I'm not going to go into it too much, but someone can reach out to your company day 15 and then you get an estimate booked, but they don't actually convert until 2 months down the road because they've been seeing your ads consistently pop up every single day for 2 months, right? So that's why it's very important to let things run for a long time, because you're seeing what the market is giving you and you're reminding people of your product or service over and over and over again until they convert, right? And then lastly is conversion tracking, right? So actually tracking all the people that you're converting and getting from these ads. So month 1 is the testing phase. Month 2 is the optimization phase, figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and scaling from there. Month 3 is when things start to get good, things start to get predictable. And then in 90 days, you can have a predictable pipeline. So if this is something that you think will benefit your business and you want to have a predictable pipeline in a couple of months so that over the next couple of years, you don't have to worry about the slow season, because you know that you have a reliable system that you can just lower or raise depending on how much business you need to get in, right? If that's something you're looking for, if you're looking for a system and you have the team and you're ready to scale, reach out and book a call at the link in the description, and we will see if you are a good fit for what we do.